Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. Today I come to you from the centre of the main quadrangle here at Sydney University on this wonderful autumn Sydney day, and I'd love to go through a book, and the book that I've selected for today's episode is entitled How Minds Change, a book that was published on the 21st of June 2022 by an author named David McRaney. Why do people change their minds, and why is it so hard to convince someone to think differently? This book, How Minds Change by David McRaney, explores the psychology behind belief, persuasion, and the science of why we hold on to certain ideas so tightly. Through real-world examples and cutting-edge research, McRaney reveals that changing minds isn't about forcing facts, but about understanding how people process information and emotion. If our beliefs shape our reality, then what does it truly take to shift someone's perspective, including our own? So let's step through some of the key learnings from this book and see what we can learn, what we can incorporate, and what we can apply into our lives and into our inventory of skills, wisdom, and knowledge. So the first key message from this author is that facts alone rarely change minds. People don't reject new information because it's untrue. They reject it because it threatens their identity or chosen worldview. Effective persuasion takes more than just presenting the facts. We move on to another point, and the next point is that belief is tied to one's own chosen identity. Whether a belief becomes part of who we are, questioning it feels like an attack on our own sense of self. To change minds, we must first create a safe place, a safe space for people to explore new perspectives. And listening is much more powerful than arguing. The best way to influence someone isn't by proving them wrong, but by deeply listening to their concerns, their experiences, and their own reasoning. People are more likely to change their own minds than being convinced by other people. Lasting change happens when people feel they've arrived at a conclusion on their own. Guiding them through self-reflection is more effective than attempting direct persuasion. The author also goes on to talk about the illusion of explanatory depth, as it makes people overconfident. Many people believe they understand a topic better than what they actually do. Asking thoughtful questions that expose gaps in their knowledge can lead to potential reconsideration. And we must never discount social influence, as it plays a huge role in belief selection, belief maintenance, and belief change. People are more likely to change their minds when they see trusted peers, role models, or communities shift their perspective first. They're happy to follow if someone who they respect has a view and that they can consider. We move on to talk about a thing called cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance can be a catalyst for potential change. When someone's actions contradict their beliefs, they feel psychological discomfort, I should say. Helping them recognise these inconsistencies can nudge them towards new perspectives. We also go on to look at stories, because stories are considered to be more persuasive than data. Human minds are wired for storytelling. A personal, emotional narrative is often far more convincing than a set of statistics or logical arguments. Some people are high reluctance and resist persuasion regardless of what one can do. The harder you push with some people, the harder some people will resist and fight back. So instead of pressuring someone to change, it's more effective to give them space to explore ideas naturally. And the last key point to come from this book is that we can change our own minds too. Just as we wish to influence others, we must be open to revising our own beliefs as well. And intellectual humility, the ability to question and to adopt and adapt our views, is key to personal growth. So in conclusion, if changing minds isn't about winning arguments, then what is it really about? This book, How Minds Change, challenges us to rethink persuasion, not as a battle, but as a process of curiosity, empathy, and genuine dialogue. So instead of asking, how can I make someone see things my way, perhaps the better question is, how can I create an environment where change feels safe? And in doing so, are we also willing to change our own minds? So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club, where I come to you from the main quadrangle at Sydney University on this beautiful day, and I look forward to coming to you again and chatting to you about something else very, very soon. Bye for now.